On this episode of See Indonesia, we're taking you to the quaint paradise that is the Nirwana Gardens, where you'll find one of the best sunset views in all of Bintan. Explore the diversity of Bintan's landscape, from the bottom of the seafloor to the vast deserts of Busung, and take a stroll through the breathtaking Thousand Statues Temple.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia!
See Indonesia.
For such a small island, Bintan has a lot going for it. This little island has an incredible amount of diversity, both in terms of its landscape, from lush mangrove forest to sunny beaches to desert plains, and also diversity in the way of its inhabitants, who are a colorful mix of various different cultures. So on this episode, we'll try and check all the boxes and show you the variety that Bintan has to offer. Starting here, in the luxurious Nirwana Gardens Resort on the island's northwestern coast.
And now if you really want to splurge, this is what you need to get. This is the Indramaya Pool Villa at Nirwana Gardens. And this spacious and homey villa can house up to 6 people in their 3 bedrooms. And of course, as the name suggests, you get this gorgeous infinity pool overlooking the Singapore Strait. And now, of course, you're paying that premium because you want the best and most premium experience that you can get here in Bintan. You'll find yourself seeing the best view, the most gorgeous sunset you'll ever see.
Nirwana Gardens is the complete resort destination, boasting 5 unique experiences in their 550-hectare territory. You're bound to find an accommodation that suits you and your family or friends. If what you're looking for from your vacation is unparalleled comfort and privacy, then look no further from the Indramaya Pool Villa. These panoramic views of the South China Sea are to die for, and it gets even better during sunset. And if you want to explore the resort grounds further, no need to worry, because the resort provides a personal buggy and driver to take you around. There's no shortage of things to see. On our visit, we stopped by the Reok Ponorogo Cultural Show, which is held by Nirwana Gardens every Saturday evening. The Reok Ponorogo is a traditional dance from East Java, which tells the story of a mythical battle between the king of Ponorogo and a giant lion-like creature called Singo Barong. It's quite rare to catch a Reok Ponorogo show outside of Java, so seeing it here was a surprise, but a welcome one. After the show finished and the golden hour slowly approaching, we went straight to the best place in all of Bintan to catch the sunset, the Calypso Floating Bar. This Caribbean-style bar sits right on top of the waters off Bintan's northwestern coast. The bar is attached to the Kelong Seafood Restaurant, which serves the freshest seafood this side of the island. The way to the bar is through this extended walkway, which is a great photo spot and also lets you really take in the cool ocean breeze. The bar's chill vibe, enhanced by some great reggae music and equally great selection of drinks, is by far the best way to experience the sunset. And speaking of sunsets, would you just take a look at that? After the sun is set, we left the Calypso bar in search for dinner, and tonight I was in the mood for something soupy.
Yeah, makasih Mbak. Alrighty, so we're now at the Lakeside restaurant, very close by from where we're staying, which obviously serves some Chinese-style hot pot. And now, of course, we're spoiled for choice here. We've got our choices of vegetables, got some prawns, some crab sticks, a lot of beef, which unfortunately I cannot eat, but thankfully they also have a choice of chicken breast. So, in terms of the hot pot itself, we've got two choices of broth currently, the chicken broth and also the spicy mala. And yeah, as you can see, this is a meal for a large group of gatherings. So if you have a lot of friends, if you got a lot of family, it's a great place to take them out for the night. And as for me, my family tonight will be my crew, which are now behind the camera. Once we get this out of the way, we'll get to eating. Cheers.
The day was pretty chill if I'm being honest, but don't worry, that's only because we're saving up all the tiring stuff for the next day. So don't go anywhere. Because next up, we'll be diving all the way down to the sea floor. And after that, I get to live out my dream of becoming a cowboy in the Wild West. Stay tuned.
Only on See Indonesia.
See the beauty.
Only on See Indonesia.
The waters of Bintan are ripe for exploration. Playing around on the surface is cool and all, but going underneath is a whole other experience. And the trip wouldn't feel complete without swimming with the fishes. But what if you want to go deeper than snorkeling, but you don't know how to scuba dive? Well, luckily for me, Nirwana Gardens has got me covered. Today, we're going down, way down, to the bottom of the sea, with the help of the Seawalker. Nirwana Gardens' Seawalker program is a form of helmet diving, which differs from scuba diving in that the oxygen supply isn't attached on the person, rather on a boat which remains on the surface. This method of diving allows non-divers to visit the undersea life without any prior training. While this method is much easier to do than scuba diving, you will be a lot more restricted with your movement, as you are only able to go as far as the oxygen tube allows you to. After a really important safety briefing from the instructor, I was fired up and ready to go, albeit a little intimidated.
Alright, so I'm about to go on the undersea walk, so I'll be diving down there all the way to the bottom of the ocean floor, and I'll be wearing one of these bad boys that weigh around 20 kilos. I won't be able to talk to you guys once I'm down there, so be sure to read my facial expressions to know exactly how I'm feeling. Alright?
Diving down with the helmet is not without its risk. You have to descend slowly and methodically, always ensuring that your ears are popped and getting your body slowly used to the undersea pressure. The way down is by a ladder, which stretches all the way to the bottom. Thankfully, I had no issues and managed to safely arrive at the rock bottom. Down here, the visibility isn't the best, but I could still make out things that are close to me. I found myself holding on against the railing, which is also what divers will use to guide themselves on the predetermined route. I found myself thinking about how this must be how astronauts must have felt when they were walking on the moon. Heavy, cumbersome, can't really see all that well. But one key difference down here though, there's still plenty of life.
That was something else. You know, the visibility wasn't really quite there. I did get to see some fish though, but I got to walk on the ocean floor, and how often do you get to say that?
After finishing my undersea route, I climbed all the way back up. It was definitely a unique experience, something Bintan has an abundance of. Bintan's landscape is quite diverse, so after we got soaked, we went to a place where we got high and dry. Yes sir, from the sunny beaches of the northwest coast, we traveled down south to a land that no man dares to tread, the Busung Desert.
Howdy, partner. Don't get many of your kind around these parts. Yes, sir. This is the Busung Desert, as the locals like to call it. But it ain't really a desert. Secret between you and me. It's actually formerly an old abandoned mine where they used to mine bauxite. Now it's the Wild West. Let me show you around.
Sorry for pulling your leg there, partner. Like I said, this place ain't no real desert. It's a bauxite mine. Well, what's left of it anyway. You see, Bintan ain't used to be a fancy tourist destination. Way back in the day, this place was sought after for one thing and one thing only: bauxite, which is used to make aluminium. The Dutch were the first to figure out Bintan was full of this stuff back in 1924. And after that, they just started mining. The mining companies left this spot in the 90s or so, and eventually, after being untouched for so long, it became the desert we know today. Nowadays, folks from all over come here to partake in all sorts of activities. You can go along and ride on some ATVs, take some photos by the lake, or if you're a contemplative fella like me, hike up these hills over here and take in the view. Up here, I feel free like a bird, and this bird you cannot change.
Well, it's been one heck of an adventure. The sun's coming down real low, partner. I reckon I gotta mosey along down to my ranch. It's been swell. Maybe one day our paths will cross again. Till then, adios, amigo.
Now that our adventures in the Wild West Now that our adventures in the Wild West comes to a close, we tucked in for the night because we still got a couple things left tomorrow before we finish up our adventures on the island. Including paying a visit to the incredible Thousand Statues Temple. Don't miss it.
See the beauty only on See Indonesia. See the beauty only on See Indonesia.
This is going to be our last day in Bintan, and we've seen and done almost everything there is to see and do on this island. But there is still one iconic spot we haven't checked out yet, the Thousand Statues Temple. But I'll save that one for last. Before we go visit the temple, we're off to try another Bintan staple, otak-otak, or steamed fish cake. And one of the most sought-after otak-otak in Bintan lies in the tiny town of Kijang, 30 minutes east of Tanjung Pinang.
Alright fellas, so we're here to try out some otak-otak. For those of you who don't know, otak-otak is steamed fish cake, which is then slightly grilled before serving. And apparently Bintan is actually very well known for otak-otak because it has 3 different kinds. So the place we're here right now is otak-otak Bu Yana here in Kijang, East Bintan, and we're going to try them out. So there's 3 different otak-otaks here. There's otak-otak tulang, or the otak-otak that's made up of bones, and then there's otak-otak ikan, which is the regular kind of otak-otak that we're all familiar with. And then also there is otak-otak sotong, which is made out of squid. So we're going to try all 3 of them out and see which ones are good. Starting with the most unique one, which is what I'm most curious about, the otak-otak tulang. I'm going to see if it's actually just made up of bones, which, you know, if you think about a fish cake just made out of bones, doesn't really sound like the most appetizing thing, but we'll see. Yeah, that's the bone. So, to my surprise, it's not entirely bone. Thank God. It's made up of like chunks of fish, but also a lot of the bone. So, from what I understand, this is made to reduce waste from fish scraps. So, it is a very sustainable way of cooking. But be careful when you eat because you might just stumble upon a couple of very sharp fish bones.
The fish otak-otak is your standard fare, although spicier than the types you'd commonly find around Java. And the squid otak-otak tasted almost the same as the fish one, with albeit a tinge of squidiness. So, I went to the ladies who were making the otak-otak behind me to learn more.
So what I'm learning now as I'm talking to the lovely ladies who are making the otak-otak is that apparently, silly me, the squid otak-otaks are not fully squid. So I don't know if you're able to see, but in the paste there are bits of squid. So it's not entirely squid. It's still mixed in with some fish paste. But apparently you can't just make it fully with squid. So that's why there's still a fishy taste, and it's only slightly different from the fish otak-otak.
After our quick otak-otak lunch, we drove straight to our main destination, the majestic Thousand Statues Temple. And let me tell you, majestic doesn't begin to describe it. Upon entering the compound, you're greeted with these tall pillars and a walkway which leads to an absolutely massive archway. In the main garden, which lie behind the archway, is where you'll find the rows upon rows of stone Arahat statues, each one completely unique. A little disclaimer though, the Thousand Statues Temple isn't its official name, nor is it all that accurate. The temple is officially named the Sitigarbha Bodhisattva Temple, and there aren't 1,000 statues here. Despite what the locals like to call it, there's actually exactly 500 stone arahat statues. Arahat is Sanskrit for one who is worthy, which in Buddhism usually refers to a person who has achieved spiritual enlightenment. To learn more about the temple, I met up with Bobby Jayanto, an influential figure among the ethnic Chinese in the Riau Islands. Mr. Jayanto was formerly the chairman of Tanjung Pinang's Regional Representative Council from 2004 to 2009, making him the first person of ethnic Chinese descent to hold such a position in the country. Now, Mr. Jayanto is head of the Indonesian Hakka Association, as well as caretaker to the Siti Garba Bodhisattva Temple.
Latar belakangnya ini ada satu gagasan dari seorang suhu di Singapura. Mereka punya cita-cita ingin bangun suatu rumah ibadah bagi umat Buddha di Asia Tenggara, khususnya masyarakat Kepri dan masyarakat Singapura dan Malaysia. Oleh sebab itu, suhu ini kan banyak pengikut. Pengikut itu datang dengan saya pada waktu itu tahun 2004. Pas saya lagi menjabat sebagai seorang ketua DPRD. Dan mereka datang sama saya mengutarakan niat mereka. Saya bilang, wah ini pembangunan besar ini. Dan mereka siap bentuk tim pembangunan dan tim untuk pencari dana. Nah, kalau itu saya bilang saya nggak sanggup. Mereka bilang nggak masalah, Pak Bobi bantu mengurusi legalitasnya. Walaupun berbeda agama ya, tapi saya terpanggil karena ini saya tengok proyek ini besar dan ini ke depan merupakan aset daerah kita.
While the temple is Buddhist, Mr. Jayanto himself is not, but he took it upon himself to facilitate the construction for the temple and continues to care for it to this day. The temple's construction took 14 years and was funded by donors from across Asia, from countries like Singapore and Thailand. The plaques under each of the 500 statues bears the name of the donors who've helped brought this temple to life.
Kemudian, mengapa Tanjung Pinang yang dipilih menjadi lokasi membangun wihara ini, Pak?
Karena pertimbangan teman-teman tim dari Singapura itu mereka sudah lakukan survei. Ya, karena masyarakat sini sangat rukun. Ya, dan ditambah lagi saya waktu itu menjabat sebagai seorang ketua DPRD dari etnis Tionghoa dan pertama kalinya di Indonesia. Oleh sebab itu mereka percaya sekali bahwa ya masyarakat sini bagus sekali kehidupannya, pembaurannya, kerukunannya sangat bagus. Harapan kita ini ya dapat kita lestarikan sampai ke anak cucu, dan ini merupakan aset daripada daerah kita. Ya, awalnya kita bangun ini tujuannya untuk orang beribadah. Tetapi begitu siap, waduh kita tak bisa membendung. Masyarakat, turis, semua. Anda boleh lihat sendiri, justru yang datang ke sini itu boleh saya katakan 90% umat muslim yang tertarik dengan ya budayanya, dengan alamnya, dengan suasananya, dengan ketenangannya di sini. Jadi orang banyak ke sini.
Coming here, I felt like this temple exemplified what makes Bintan so unique. The authentic Chinese influences, the intermingling of cultures, and the respect that the people of Bintan have towards each other. Bintan is steeped in diversity, both in its landscape as well as in its people and communities. It is a land sitting on the crossroads of various Southeast Asian influences, and throughout the years, it has still managed to craft an identity that is wholly its own. And that makes Bintan a place unlike any other.